Hey you guys, I'm back. All right, so as you can see, still have my shirt on, so it's still day one or night one. Well, it's not night, definitely. It's still daylight out, but it's after work areas because I have my regular job. I have my regular job that I work for, and I work for HPO, by the way. And so this is what happens after work, and I still have a chance to do at least a couple of videos. All right, so we got done explaining, the difference between not the difference, but reviews between Okta and Firebase that happened in the last video, and now we're gonna actually start integrating Okta and creating. Eventually, we're gonna create an app, but we gotta build the initial Okta account and stuff like that, right? All right, so you're gonna go into login Okta account, login.okta.com, and if you don't have an account, you're going to be met with something weird like this, and then sign in or create an account and create account, and then you're gonna have something like that. Okay, so just go through this right there, fill it out. You're gonna have at least, I think, a verification email, and then that verification email is gonna bring you right back to this, and eventually you're gonna be able to log in and all that stuff, right? So I'm not gonna create an account because I already have an account. So instead of doing that, I am just going to go back to my my signing application right here, and I'm just gonna sign in, and I will let you do your sign up if you have to, and then once you are done, then I'll just meet you right here at the dashboard. Okay, all right, so excuse my cat, she's still going crazy back there, and I didn't even give her catnip, so I don't understand what's going on there. Then she just got crazy. All right, so you should have landed right here when you finally logged in, right, into this account here, where you have to like customize your goals and all that stuff, create a single app, a single page app, or whatever. That's fine. Eventually all this stuff will be completed for you as well. Just hit dashboard, so you can end up right, I'm sorry, not dashboard, just hit applications and then application. Okay, and then when you're in here, when you get here, create an app application, then you're gonna end up here. So let's go over these a little bit. Okay, so bear with me, this is important to understand. Okay, so you have 4 options here, like on which kind of app integration you're gonna have, which kind of service are you expecting to get from Okta. Okay, so the OIDC, which is OpenID Connect, is the most common one and the most frequently used with Okta, which is the one that gives you access for the user to have a sign-on system and a registration and a create account, all that stuff, right? And it comes with a signing widget and all this good stuff. And that's the one that we're going to use. The SAML 2.0 is more of a single sign-on, where someone will sign on eventually into a single source of truth called an identity provider, and that identity provider is the one that takes care of signing you on into any app out there that you want to sign on. So that way you don't have to keep up with a bunch of logins into different accounts. You can just log into one place, and that place logs you in everywhere else. We're not going to be using that, by the way. The SWS, Secure Web Authentication, is kind of like the SAML 2.0. It's still a single sign-on process, but it's more for web applications instead of signing you on to like PayPal or whatever, right? And then API services is more of like a peer-to-peer type of thing. So like two Okta machines talking to each other, things like that. Honestly, I have not used that yet. I won't actually even attempt to say that I am an expert on that part. I've basically mostly done with that, OpenID Connect, and let somebody else do the single sign-on. Single sign-on with OpenID Connect is what I've found to be the most effective way to do things. All right, so we're gonna create that. And then now it's asking you which application type you're going to build. So there are basically, just to put it in simple terms, there are going to be 3 types of applications you can integrate Okta with. Whether you're going to, if a web application is basically if you're going to integrate Okta in the back end. So as you can see here, Java, ASP.NET, Node, PHP, these are all back end languages. So there is a specific way that you make Okta work with your back end. Okay. and have your backend do all the authorization. Or you can do it with a single page application type, which is going to be basically built on the client side, which is what we're going to do. For this, you'll be implementing Octa into Angular, React, Vue, any one of these client side languages. Let's just go ahead and click that, because that's what we're going to do. And then the native application is if you're going to integrate this into an Android app or an iOS for iPhone app or something like that, which we're not going to do now. All right, so we're going to do the single page application now. A little insertion here. I want to insert something before we get further. Though I am making this, oh my goodness, cat. What is she doing? Oh, she's chasing a little thing. Okay, never mind. So, yeah, it's a little tight wrap that is on the floor. So anyway, so although I am building this primarily for React, or I'm using React to show you how it works, don't get discouraged if you landed here and you're like, shucks, I'm doing this in Angular. It's the exact same thing for any language you use. Angular, React, Vue, it's the exact same. There is a part in Octa where you pick the language. As we're going through it, you're gonna see that there is going to be a thing on the side that says whether you want to do this in React or Angular or whatever. So just make sure you pick the right one, and everything else will be the same. The only thing is that your code is going to be different, but the portions, the sections of what you need to use in order to run an authorization will still be the same way. There will be some minor tweaks, obviously, for each language, because they do have their own particular things, but for the most part, I think this tutorial will still help you anyway. If you found another tutorial that is more specific to your language that you're working with, to Angular or whatever, then by all means follow that tutorial. But if you can find one and I'm the best you got, you're not gonna be completely lost. You're gonna be okay. All right, so that's done. Let's go to the next, and I don't know why I did this. That's done. All right, so now we are at the application, single page application integration. This is where you actually get to build how this is going to work. So first, it's going to be an app integration name. What are we going to call this? Oh God, this cat, don't drive me nuts. What are we going to call this? We're going to call it, you can call it whatever you want. Just because I have a cup of coffee in front of me, let's just call it a coffee app. Coffee app. Simple. All right, the logo, you can always do that later and add a logo in there. I don't have a logo right now, so just leave it like that. So the grant type is how is the client is going to be acting on behalf of the user. So basically is either this one or this one that I use, that I have seen used the most. Authorization code is used mostly with modern browsers. If you're going to be using some older version of browsers, then do use the implicit one. But we're gonna do authorization code for this one. For the sign-in redirect URI. So basically what this does is if somebody is trying to log into a page, but instead of they're trying to access a page that should be only for authorized people and they're not logged in, it basically redirects them to the login page. So it's a callback into the login, like, hey, oops, no, you can't be here. Go to the login and log in, right? So that's what we want this to do. The only difference, the only change that we're going to do is that we're going to add 3000 here instead of 8080, only because that's the port that React uses, once we run the application. And so instead of doing changes over there, we'll just change it here, and it'll run on the same port that React is going to run. Then we have the sign out redirect URI. The sign out is basically what happens after you sign off. After you logged off the account, right? You don't want, somebody logs out of the account, you want them to go somewhere, and you want to redirect them basically to the homepage, right? Don't worry about this base URI. And then the assignments. So you have ways that you can allow people, either if you don't. So I do this one, okay? Allow everyone in your organization to access. And the reason why I do this one is because as long as I have all of my users authorized in my Okta account, they will be authorized into the website. I like that connection. If I don't have this here, if I have this, or for example, limit to selected groups, then I have to put these people into a specific group in order to access the website. So that's an extra layer of security, but it's an extra work that I have to deal with. What? What are you doing? All right, so we're gonna go with allow everyone in your organization and go ahead and save, and I believe that will be the end of it. That's it, done. We have successfully created our application. It's called Coffee App. It's active, it's ready to go, it's good. So everything that you're gonna see here is basically what we already did. Now what I do suggest you do is I copy this client ID and this Okta domain and keep it saved somewhere else, or just keep this window open, because you're going to need this in our next video once we start setting up our Okta React application. Okay, all right, so that's all I have right now, and we'll meet again. All right, see you.